mess around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my sweat, put on the beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between, know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rep, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm but they chase for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running. You don't wanna follow me, now I'm fucking running.
What's going on? What's going on YouTube, Facebook? How you doing? It's your boy Steve, the Kidney Nurse. Welcome to a new episode. Look, tonight we got a serious topic to talk about. One that impacts thousands of kidney warriors that attend outpatient hemodialysis. That topic is dialysis staffing shortages. Are your treatments in jeopardy? Are your treatments in jeopardy? Now, this was a topic I was just going to discuss on TikTok, but I decided, look, this topic is way bigger than TikTok, is way bigger than YouTube. This topic is serious because you have news articles such as staffing and supply chain shortages are causing deadly disruptions to dialysis. And a lot of patients don't know that. They don't know you may be at a facility right now and having crisis shortage. You may say, hey, I don't see so-and-so often. I haven't seen so-and-so. Where they at? Oh, they out sick. And what's really causing this? Several. You got the coronavirus knocking people out. Flu season coming up. And then you just got the dialysis company just not paying. They just not paying, the truth be told. They're not paying what technicians and nurses feel like they're worth working under pressure. You got multiple call-outs at some units. Some units not even hiring. Some units are cutting staff treatment. I mean, it's ridiculous. This article here, staffing and supply chain shortages are causing daily disruptions to dialysis. Published by thehill.com on 5/24/22. They're saying for people living with kidney failure and their families, disruptions to dialysis treatments are more than just inconvenience. Now, how many of you warriors on TikTok, if you watch it, share this live. But how many warriors on TikTok went to dialysis treatment one day and they said, we're not open, or we got to cut your treatment because we just don't have the staff or the supplies to meet your needs? How many people ran into that? And if you haven't ran into that, count your lucky stars. Okay, because it's going on across the United States. This is not just a one-time shot. All right. Some of these places, they're hiring people straight off the street with no dialysis background experience, no medical experience, coming in, training them to serve people with kidney failure, just to try to fill in that shortage. Now, that's not right, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you have these shortages, these call-outs, the patients suffer. Yes, I do recommend that. The patients suffer at the end of the day. you got lack of care. All right. And what I mean by lack of care, so instead of in Maryland, I'm just going to use that for an example. In Maryland, the staff patient ratio, meaning how many dialysis patients to one staff member, is 3-to-1, 3 patients to 1 staff. All right. Sometimes it's 4-to-1. Okay. That's not bad. But what do you do if you have 30 patients? All right. In order to treat 30 patients, you need 10 staff members. You need 10 technicians or 10 nurses. Okay, 3 for each person. Now, what if you had 3 out of that 10 call out sick? 3 out of that 10 call out sick, you up shit's creek. That's the bottom line. You SOL. Now we have to figure out how we going to distribute, right, the 9 patients for those 3 people that called out. How are we going to distribute them? And then you're already going to have an attitude issue with the other techs because they're going to be like, I don't want to take their patients. I got my own patients to watch out for. All right, now you finally set it up. You got some people with 4, some people splitting 5 patients. And it's like, how are you adequately monitoring patients when you have this going on? What do you do? So let me just tell you some of the issues that are happening around the world. So basically the problem was, even like they say, even before the pandemic, kidney dialysis programs were already stretched to capacity. An influx of people needing treatments in the hospitals due to the COVID-19 exacerbated existing shortages in trained staff. This was compounded by the fact that substantial numbers of COVID-19 patients developed acute kidney injury. And among COVID-19 patients requiring ICU care, more than 50% with kidney injury may have required dialysis. During surges in cases of COVID-19, hospital shortages of staff, equipment, and supplies limited the capacity to provide acute dialysis. Similarly, outpatient dialysis facilities also experienced staffing shortages as patient and care professionals became infected with COVID-19, as many experienced staff left the workforce. Oh, and as many experienced, like myself, staff left the workforce, resulting in closure of some dialysis facilities. Now, let me tell you the reason. I'm back in the workforce, but I'm not back in it full time like that. I work as a contractor. You're going to pay me what I'm worth. But when I come in there, you're going to get 100%, just like where I worked last week, 24-chair unit. They had maybe 20 patients, okay? 18, 20 patients. Normally they have 2 nurses. I didn't even realize the LPN wasn't even there until I got there. Technician, like, you the only nurse here? It's like, somebody else supposed to be here. Like, oh, I don't think so. I was like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. And all the patients left out. We had 3 shifts. They all left out safe. They all got medicated. They all got assessed. But this is the position that these companies put their staff in. All right. And at the end of the day, the patients suffer, and it's all about saving the bottom line. There's several ways you can deal with the staff issue. You can hire agency nurses. And I also encourage, if you are a dialysis warrior and you're able to work, right? Yeah, I work per diem, Chaplain Joe, not full-time or part-time. But if you're able to work and you're on dialysis, I highly recommend apply for a job as a dialysis technician. Because who best would be able to help other patients going through this? If you're on dialysis and you can work, being a technician could probably be the most rewarding thing you could do to help another technician, because now you know about putting needles in somebody because somebody put them in you. Now you know how it feels to cramp. Now you know what to do medically, okay? The way that the companies train how to respond to these very symptoms that you dealt with while on dialysis. That's why I say, to help this shortage, if you can work, if you're on dialysis, I highly suggest going to DaVita's website or Fresenius and apply. Hey, Margaret, and apply to be a dialysis therapist. Who best knows this job? Okay? So, recent supply chain woes have also caused shortages of dialysate. And this is the dialysate that they're talking about, but it comes in a bigger, like a barrel container. These are the little small jugs we hook up to the machine. Okay. And a major dialysis supplier, due to a severe labor shortage, workers could not keep up with the manufacturing and transportation needs for supplies. As a result, dialysis chains reduced patient treatments to compensate. Hey, what's going on? Did you just hear what I said? What I just read from this article? It said a major dialysis supplier stated that due to a severe labor shortage, workers could not keep up with the manufacturing and transportation needs for supplies. As a result, dialysis chains reduced patients' treatments to compensate. So we know patients need their treatment, but they reduced the treatment to compensate for something that they couldn't keep up with. So let's see what the AKF had to say about this. Rarely AKF come out and talk about these big organizations because they are bedfellows. These companies donate to AKF. Oh, that's all right. Margaret on Facebook said this young man that's on dialysis just started to work at clinic a couple of weeks now. That's what I'm talking about. That one person is making a difference. I don't know this man's name, but Margaret said that this young man that's on dialysis just started to work at clinic a couple of weeks ago. Now, this has positive benefits to this. If you're able to work and you're on dialysis and you may have lost your job or you're ready to work, you can apply to a dialysis company. Just think about the money. Now, I don't know what they're paying, but some places say they're starting off at $15 an hour. I don't know. Okay, so I can't confirm or deny that these companies starting off at $15 an hour. And then when you got to think about it, the long hours. Now, there's going to be some, I don't want to say disadvantages, but it's not like an 8 hours. I mean, most places, if you find a place that has 2 shifts, that's great. But if they got 3 shifts, you're going to be on your feet most of the day or sitting down, working with 3 groups of patients, first, second, third shift. Sometimes these days could turn into long days. I mean, grueling hours. I had to get up last week, Friday, 4:15 to get to a place by 5:30. I had to get ready, get myself together. Be there at 5:30. Never been here before, but I can adapt to any place I go to because they're all the same. They're all the same. They just do different things. But I didn't get out of there till 8 o'clock. I'm up at 4:15 and didn't leave out the workplace till 8 o'clock. Because when you're working with outpatients, one thing that they don't tell you is once the last patient come off the machine and they waiting for a ride and they sitting in the lobby, we just can't kick anybody out. Hey, you got to go outside and wait for them and lock the door. No, I have to sit there and wait patiently. I got to sit there and wait patiently until the family comes and pick up the patient. Now, if they come 30, 45 minutes, I still got to stay there. You know, it's not a fun thing when you're ready to go home. You're tired. You've been up since 4:15. It's 8 o'clock at night. You ain't been outside all damn day. You haven't even seen daylight. The clinic got blinds. So it ain't like the clinic got the blinds up because they don't want people to be looking inside, looking inside. That's like HIPAA violation. So not unless I go outside. That's the only time I want to see some sunshine. It's not like I can leave the clinic to go to lunch. If I'm the only nurse, I can't even leave the building. I can't leave the building. That's how critical I am. Or not just me, but the nurses. You cannot start the dialysis treatment unless a nurse is in the building. If they start your treatment and you don't see the nurse, they're doing something wrong, because what if something happened while you're on? And they're supposed to check the water to make sure there's no chlorine and chloramine present. But let me read to you what the AKF had to say about the impact of reported dialysis supply and staffing shortage. All right. And they really don't do nothing other than saying they gather and research. How likely statement. But they say AKF is gathering data on the scope of the reported shortages and is encouraging people who have been affected to contact AKF to share their experience. Okay, but what are you going to do about it? Shit, they done cut my treatment 3-4 times. I done got fluid buildup. What are we going to do about that? That's what I want to know. What are you going to do about the impact of the treatment? And this is the thing. This is what they don't tell you. Say if you 4 hours and they cut your treatment to 3 hours, they still charging you. It ain't no discount where, you do 4 hours, we're going to charge this amount. You do 3 hours, we're going to charge this amount. You do 3.5, we charge. No, that's the scary thing. And that's the most humane part about it, is that if you 4 hours, 3.5, and they cut your time, right? They cut your time, they still charging your insurance. They still charging you. Whether you do 4 hours or 3 hours, you're still getting charged. Now, who does that? All right, let's talk serious now, all jokes aside. You're talking about a life-sustaining treatment that's impacted millions of people. And you're talking about cutting my treatment time because you don't have any staff, or you cannot meet the demands of manufacturing the dialysis. What's really going on here? Okay. So AKF says the American Kidney Fund is deeply concerned, okay, about reported dialysis supply and staffing shortages due to the COVID-19 pandemic that have resulted in reduced dialysis treatments for some patients with kidney failure. AKF is gathering data on the scope of this issue and is encouraging patients who have been affected by these shortages to contact AKF to share their experience. The COVID-19 pandemic already has caused significant challenges for millions of Americans living with kidney disease. In areas around the country, supply and delivery delays are now reportedly causing patients to have their treatment times shortened. Okay? In some cases, without notice. Without notice. So what they're saying, you don't even have it. You can go tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday, the 31st. You may be somebody that goes to dialysis treatment tomorrow. You may hear this broadcast, not even think anything about it, right? This is a big country, right? Not even thinking about it. See me tonight, and you can go in, and they say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, today we got to cut your treatment because there's no dialysis. This is why, now, again, when we talk about other options, right, we talk about the disadvantages and advantages of the different treatment options. You got peritoneal, home dialysis, you got home hemo, you got in-center, you got transplant, and then you got no treatment at all. Yes, a lot of people don't realize that it's called conservative therapy. There's no dialysis. Yes, if you don't want to do dialysis, you don't have to. That's another treatment option, believe it or not. But with any treatment option, you're going to have advantage and disadvantage, just like home dialysis. You're going to have advantages and disadvantages of home dialysis, even though a lot of people would tell you that's on home dialysis, that's what they prefer because it's been more beneficial for them. But they don't tell you about the disadvantages that come with that as well. And what some of the disadvantages? What if you're at home dialysis and you don't have a generator and your power goes out? What if you can't afford a generator and the power goes out in the middle of treatment? Then what do you do? How do you rinse yourself back if you don't have any power, unless those home machines have a hand crank? It's the same. I mean, with CAPD, advantages and disadvantages. Some of the disadvantages, the storage space. You could possibly be at risk for tainted solution. That's everywhere. The risk of peritonitis. Same with in-center. You got benefits and advantages and disadvantages with in-center. As unfortunate with in-center, it's a lot more because now you got other people dealing with your care. To err is human. What do I mean by that? Humans make mistakes. This is what I'm talking about. Staff shortages. Somebody coming in, just started dialysis, working, coming to you to put the needle in, shaking, shaking like they need a fix. Like, what's going on with you? Are you a tech or not? Yes, but this is my first time doing the needle stick. What? Where's your preceptor? Okay, this is what companies are doing. They're hiring people to fill this staff shortages. They're not going to find people like myself anymore. We're off to the graveyard. You know what I'm saying? You know, not literally, but I mean, I just happen to like what I do. That's why I'm still going to unit. A lot of my colleagues who have master's degrees, such as myself, you know, I don't boast on it, but who have higher education degrees doing something, doing their own thing. Like, Steve, you still going in the clinic working on the floor? I say, yep. I mean, because that's what I love. That's what I love. And that's my money earner. That's my money. I swear. And I you know, sometimes I feel bad because I go in and work in the clinic and I'm working with dialysis patients and I'm you know, making what I'm making, but I feel like sometimes it's off the blood of patients. You know, some of the stuff that I see in these clinics and got new people and they don't even know what they're doing. And oh my God, I mean, if I didn't, you know, go back in the field to see this for myself, I wouldn't have believed it. And I said this years ago, back in 2018, that it was going to get like this. And it's gotten to this point. So let's finish seeing what the AKF say. They say, in some cases, without notice, staffing shortages during the surge of cases across the country are also purportedly causing treatment access issues. AKF calls on federal and state agencies to take immediate steps to mitigate this urgent problem to ensure that people with kidney failure are not subjected to changes to their life-sustaining treatment. Now, what can the federal government and the state government do about this? If you don't got the workers, it ain't like the federal government got stormtroopers of technicians waiting on standby. Go. Like, come on, give me a break. It ain't no technicians waiting on standby to go into these units. It doesn't work that way. It takes 10, you hire somebody, Davida says it takes 10 weeks. Now you got 10 weeks, you're waiting. Why are you waiting? You're still going to dialysis. You still got the staff shortages. And after 10 weeks, maybe only 3 or 4 people make it to the class and they go somewhere else. Your clinic may not get nobody. I'm a dietetic intern going on rotation soon at a dialysis. Hey, I would just sit back, keep quiet, and just pay attention to what's going on. And then if you decide to get into dialysis, based on what you see, do your thing. Because look, a lot of people that go in dialysis, whether it's social worker, dietitians, when they don't have any knowledge in the beginning of what's going on, they're going to feed you the status quo, you know. But once you see that the status quo ain't working, then that's where you see these other dietitians stepping outside the box. And now that's why you don't see these draconian diets anymore where patients say, oh, the kidney diet is bland. No. And that's another thing. I'm glad this person said that they were dietetic and they're rotating in dialysis, because if you got staff shortages, that means you're going to have staff shortages of social service from the social worker, and you're going to have shortage from the dietitian. So all your care is being jeopardized, whether you think so or not. You could be going in for dialysis thinking, oh, I'm going in, it doesn't impact me. But next thing you know, you turn around, you're like, where everybody at? And you see new people. You start seeing a lot of new people at your clinic, it's impacting you, okay? It's getting so bad that one warrior, okay, I don't know her name, on TikTok, a clinic lured her from her regular clinic to come over to this new clinic. They end up having to shut down. Had secretaries passing medicine. I never, that back in the 90s, we seen that, you know. But here now you got a secretary passing Benadryl IV. That's practicing medicine without a license. So that's what I'm saying. If you take your parents to dialysis, make sure you question what's going on there. Make sure everything is run smoothly. Well, I ain't gonna say run smoothly, because there's never, well, I ain't gonna say there's never a smooth day, but you just never know what can happen in dialysis. You just never know, especially if you ain't got enough staff to sit there and watch the patients. Yo, I'm not in nursing school right now. I got to go to my books. I can't believe what are common nursing diagnosis intervention for the kidney. Come on. Ask your teacher that shit. Go to your Lippincott book. Yeah, you got to catch me on another day where I could pull out my nursing books and actually look at the nursing diagnosis for that. Do a PI, plan intervention evaluation. But and then they talk about dialysis supply chains issues are also a matter of health equity. You really got one big company that does it all. I mean, you got small ones, but this is the main one. Fresenius. You see the buildings, you see the filters, you see the dialysis machines. I mean, they make the lines, they make everything. They like the new AT&T of dialysis. They do everything. One-stop shop, pulling in all the money. Okay? So, what do we do? How do we move forward to the future? Because this problem is not going to go away. It's still going to exist. Okay? And Lord, this winter, they talk about it being a dark winter. Okay? I mean, what do we do? And so, as I suggested, if you are a kidney warrior and you can work, all right, I highly suggest go to www.davita.com and go under careers in your state and apply to be a dialysis technician. I bet you they call you back the next day. I bet you get an email. Serious. Even if you said if you got some CNA experience, or say, yeah, I took care of my granddaddy or my grandmama on dialysis, you say that, call them up, or no, send them an email. We interested. Because look, again, who best to work in this position than you who dealing with this disease? Okay. Now, let's talk about some things that you should be watching out for if you go to dialysis and you find yourself in this position. First, know your treatment orders. What do I mean by that? Know what size filter you on. You may be on the 200, right? Or you may be on a 180 or 160. Know what treatment, know your filter size, because if you see somebody that's new or you never seen there before near your machine setting it up, you just want to make sure everything looks okay. All right. Now, you may see me down in several weeks. If you're watching this live, right, and you're in the Petersburg area, Petersburg, Virginia, or Colonial Heights, not going to call any company's name, but you may see me in several weeks, okay? So I'm coming down to that area for a company to do dialysis as a charge nurse. Now, why did I bring that up? Because when I go to a new place and I know patients never seen me before, they don't know me from a can of paint, right? If I'm going to be charged, soon as when they walk in the clinic, as they're regular, once patients get situated and they get in their chair and the technicians or the nurse start their treatment, then that's when I go around. I make a copy of the schedule. They got a schedule with the patient's name and the staff, what staff got each patient. So I go around, right? I have my pen in my pockets, and I go around, right? I got my paper with my patients on it, and I get to know the patient. So I'm like, hey, are you Miss So-and-so? How you doing? My name is Steve. I'm one of the nurses working with so-and-so. I'm here to help them out. How's everything going today? Everything's well. Okay. Well, I'll be back to take your assessment and give you a medicine. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. Just walking around, introducing myself to the patients. And that's what I do. If it's a 24, 30 chair unit, I'm going to all 34 chairs to introduce myself, let you know who I am, so you don't see this strange black guy coming up to your machine, right? And where my I'm coming up to your machine, about to put some medicine in, and you're like, whoa, what you get ready to do? You're like, oh, I'm Steve. I'm about to give you your vitamin D. No, I'm going to tell you who I am before I even come up to your machine and give you your medicine, so you'll know that I'll be back to give you that medicine, right? A lot of nurses don't have that charisma or that tactfulness to introduce. A lot of them just come in, do what they got to do, and get out of there. They don't want to hear nothing. They just shoot. All right, keep it moving. But no. Oh, okay. Well, I won't be in Dallas, but on the 10th of November, I'll be in Houston. So I'll be visiting my daughter. So I'll be in Houston on the 10th of November, Margaret. But anyway, so We got to do something about this, guys, because, again, this is serious. So you want to know your orders. You want to know what your dialyzer size is, what your blood flow rate is. Okay, that's your pump speed. You may be on 300, 350, 400, 450. You want to know what that is. You want to know if you get a blood thinner called heparin, how much heparin do you get? Thank you. I appreciate you. How much heparin do you get? You want to make sure if you got a catheter, right? If you got a catheter, look, you may have a catheter. You want to make sure that gets changed, right? Each treatment is supposed to change your catheter. That's what I'm saying, how this impacts patients. What if they're so busy? They're so busy that you forget to tell them to change it and they forget to change it. Somebody can have 4 patients, 5 patients, and you got this catheter and you're not even thinking about it. You sleep the whole treatment. And then gave you Benadryl. And here you go, your Benadryl, it put in the line. Next thing you know, you're like, you sleep the whole treatment. You wake up, oh man, that was a nice, oh man, I feel good. That was a nice sleep. Hey, Miss Steve, it's time to get off. Oh, okay. And you thinking they may have changed your dressing, they ain't even touched it. So that's why you got, if you do fall asleep, hey, did you change my dressing? Make sure you change the dressing. And when they change the dressing, make sure they're washing their hands and they're changing their gloves. This is what I'm saying. It's a trickle-down effect. Staff shortages is a trickle-down effect. That's why I say, are your treatments in jeopardy? Because when there's not enough staff, they can't do what they're supposed to do. You got somebody with 4 or 5 catheters. I mean, they stretch to the bone. Especially a new person. All they worried about, you put a new person in a position like that. Hey, Tanya, you put a new person in a position like that, a Russian, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. Just like a lady in the Facebook group posted. She went to dialysis and she don't know what happened, but her husband had one of these catheters and they left the clamp open. And so blood leaked out all over his clothes. Hey, what's going on, Having Culture? Blood leaked out all over his clothes. She was livid. And she even mentioned staff short. Let me read that. It had to take somebody from South Africa to reach out to me about this. South Africa. That person's not in the United States. But thank God that this is a kidney warrior on dialysis in South Africa who is very mindful. So here go the lady's post. It was in Dialysis Discussion Uncensored on Facebook. She says, and I quote, "My husband and I are absolutely livid with his clinic. We know that they're short-staffed. They know it. You may know it too. But they need to hire people who know what they're doing." What did I tell you before I even poured this out? How they hiring people with no experience. With no freaking experience. You could be the pusher guy up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? You could be that guy. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I mean, you don't have to be doing nothing, and they hire you. Okay, this is how bad that they're trying to fill up these vacancies. We know that they're short-staffed, but they need to hire people who know what they're doing. 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times a lady. 3 times they have infiltrated. This could be your parent or yourself. And what do I mean by infiltrated? Going through your access with this needle. Look how big this joker is. This is what she's talking about, being infiltrated by one of these needles. 3 times they have infiltrated his fistula this month alone. 3 times in 1 month. That's a lot of infiltrations. Hell yeah, that can definitely mess up your arm. Then listen to this. Then they decided to use his chest catheter. This is the chest catheter she's talking about. Okay. And apparently didn't close something off or connect it right because it leaked blood all over him. These are her words. These are her words. I'm not making this up. This is one person experience with dialysis. And why do you always see me going ham on these videos and do the things I do? Because a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes like I know. 37 years behind the scenes shit that I know. All the dirty stuff and humane stuff that I've seen patients go through. That's my experience. Patients going to units with mold in the air and concrete slab floors and concrete dust in the air. And they're going and they having their dialysis treatment. Who in their effing right mind will run a unit and you can go in and you see concrete dust in the air? In a slab concrete treatment floor, and you going in to get dialysis in this type of condition with mold in the air. Who wouldn't be livid? A lot of people don't see shit like this because they go to clinics in the suburbs where nothing like this happens. It's only in the inner city units where something like this takes place. No, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Those big companies are in their pockets, Tanya. I can't tell you how many times I complained where I used to work, and they said everything was unfounded. So it makes you want to think: are these big companies in the pockets of a lot of these state officials? Did she say? Then they decided to use his chest catheter and apparently didn't close something off or connect it right because it leaked blood all over him. He's absolutely drenched. He's absolutely drenched in his own blood. Then she goes on to say, and I quote, calling Fresenius corporate office does no good. And she's right. Calling the Vita corporate for they done had thousands and thousands of calls. It doesn't do nothing. Does no good, and I'm not sure where else to turn. This can't continue. My husband is now having panic attacks every time someone new tries to stick him, and there's only 2 nurses that do it right and don't make these mistakes. They're typically busy. Yes, we are. Or sent to another clinic to help. He can't self-cannulate due to having issues with his hands. What do we do? You're not even supposed to, like, if you go to dialysis, you're thinking everything's supposed to be up and up, professional. They know what they're doing. They're on top of their shit. But you're not supposed to go in there and be like, damn, we getting all this? What do I do? And let me tell you, if I was in this group, what I would tell this lady, we know what to tell that lady. What's up, Frederico? I got your message. I would tell a lady, go do home dialysis. Do home dialysis. Now you ain't got to worry about the inept staff. You learn it yourself, because that's what I would do. If I was taking my loved one and I seen all this occur, like, hell no, you're not touching my husband ever again. If anybody mess him up, I'm going to mess him up. Not some bozo at the clinic. Okay? If anybody mess him up, I'm going to mess him up. But I don't intend to do that, because I'm going to learn all I can about this. So, this is serious. This is very serious what I'm talking about, and it can impact your clinic tomorrow. If I haven't talked about anything serious, this dialysis staffing shortage is beyond belief. It is. You know, and I'm so sorry that this is happening, because it wasn't like this back in the 90s. Too many boxes. Well, no, it depends on what home dialysis you're talking about, like home hemo. But it wasn't like this in the 90s. Okay? In the 90s, you had abundance of staff. You had people starting their own agencies. You just had staff. And now, I mean, you got people now, they're wearing themselves thin. They're working 4 or 5 jobs. Like myself. I mean, like I said, I don't work full time for nobody, but I'm registered with three companies, 3 different ones where I do 2 nursing home dialysis, and then 1 outpatient or nursing home. So I get a chance to continue to see both worlds. Outpatient, right? Back to that. That's what I used to do before I got injured. Worked in the 30-chair outpatient unit. All right. So that's why I don't have any problems. Yeah, Italian hemo. That's why I don't have any problems going to a unit and just fit right in. You could just throw me in there and I'm going to flow with the flow. I mean, and not every dialysis nurse can do that, unfortunately. But this is a big, big issue that we have to stay on top of. I know one night of conversation about staff shortages is not going to fix the problem. However, I do recommend, if you can work, if you're on dialysis, seriously, if you're on dialysis and you can work, I highly suggest or recommend possibly getting a job in outpatient dialysis. Okay? Whether it's full-time or it could even be part-time. Look for a part-time job. It doesn't even have to be full-time, even though they need it. But if you get part-time, look, you get part-time, and then if you feel like you can work more hours, they're going to always have the hours. Trust me, you're not going to be without any job, especially with the shortage. Because look, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell you, Tanya, if you don't do it, then you got, no disrespect to the millennials that you may be watching, because not all millennials are like that. But if you don't do it, then you got these young people coming in who don't give a damn. Not all, but I work with this young person, and the patient had to be about 70 or 80 years old and had the oxygen on their nose, right? The lady had the oxygen, it wasn't on correctly, right? And she said, I've been down, so I was doing something. She said to me that the technician told her, she asked the technician if she could fix it for her. She told her to do it herself. I'm like, what? I didn't hear her say that, but I'm saying to myself, man, this is crazy. And this is not the first time I've heard some bull crap where you have a young person in dialysis, mouthing off for being smart with the nurse or the patient, or just not giving a damn, just there for the dollar. Just there for the dollar. This is why I say that if you're on dialysis, this would be the job for you. And you ask how? Just go to www.davita.com or go to Fresenius, www.fmcna, Fresenius Medical Care North America.com, fmcna.com, and go to the careers, and you'll see it, and look and type in patient care technician, and you'll just see hundreds of jobs right there before you. And now you don't need, like I'm saying, take advantage of this, because you don't need no special training anymore. It ain't like they're going to say, oh, you got any experience in dialysis? No, they're going to bring you in, recruit you, train you, and feed you to the wolves. And this is the thing. Some places, these companies, they train them, and they just throw the person out there because they may be in a position where they need that person because they had some call outs. Shit, I mean, it's crazy. So this is real. Thank you for the roses. It's happening. It may have already happened to you. In fact, in Baltimore, a medical director closed the unit down for 2 weeks, and the patients had to find somewhere else because she didn't have any staff. Why would she open up a dialysis unit and you ain't got any staff? You're not going to, that's dangerous. I mean, and then it's crazy because even if you had 3 or 4 staff, you got a rotations in. It's like it's a logistical nightmare. It's a logistical nightmare. Oh, they teach you how to stick during the training, right? They do a little bit of class stuff, but you get the real one when you go out on the floor with that preceptor and you holding this needle right in front of a person that you're about to cannulate. And let me tell you, a lot of times how they do it, when they train somebody, and a lot of people may be on your watches, hell no, you ain't going to stick me. This your first stick. What they normally do, I kid you not, they normally go to an older person. So it could be your mom or dad. They say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, this is Maurice. He's new to dialysis. He's in this training, learning to stick. And so you're going to be his patient. And now you got poor Maurice. He got his goggles on and his mask, and he's coming up to the, the thing flying all over the place. You're like, what the hell is going on here? And he's coming, and the older person is not going to say anything unless they the type of, no, you not, no, because you still got older people who are with it, and they're going to let you know what it's about. They don't give a damn. But then you got they find someone, like, for instance, take point in case, nursing home. If you got a nursing home patient who mainly out of it or on the ventilator and can't move or speak for themselves, that's the patient they're going to use to train that person. I kid you not, because let me tell you something. If I was on dialysis and I was my right mind, I know someone got to train, but not this arm. Hell no. Not this arm you won't. All right, you going to get that training mannequin and work on that a couple of times, going in and doing that. But you're not coming out here sticking my access. I'll stick myself before I'll let you stick me. Okay? Frederico asked me, is there a lidocaine shortage? I haven't seen one. Now, what type of lidocaine are you talking about? The one that you draw with the needle and stick in your arm? The cream? We had a question from Federico. Is there a lidocaine shortage? I haven't seen one because they have several. They got the one that you can inject under the skin. They got the topical cream, and then they got the one that's like a can that you spray on that kind of freezes. Oh, the spray. Yeah, I seen the spray. They've been with that. That's the one that is real cold. But yes, you just want to be careful. If you find yourself in a situation at a dialysis clinic, let me tell you something. It was an article. Here you go. May 11, 2022, the Tucson.com, Tucson, Arizona. So they wrote an article. Now check this out. All right, and this may be at your clinic. So please, guys, check your chairs when you go to dialysis. Right, look in the creases of the chairs. Make sure there's no dry blood, because this is article from the Tucson.com. They say it starts off: dry blood, dust, and grime found encrusted on 21 out of 25 dialysis stations at the Fresenius Kidney Care East Tucson Dialysis Clinic. Improperly disinfected dialysis stations and catheter hubs, which provide, and they talk, this is the catheter hub right here, guys. The catheter hub is right here. This is the catheter hub. Improperly disinfected dialysis stations and catheter hubs, which provide access to a patient's bloodstream, identified repeatedly at DeVita Desert Mountain Dialysis Center in Scottsdale, Arizona. Failure to follow a doctor's treatment orders for 2 separate patients, leading to the potential for increased mortality, which is death, at Fresenius Care Central Phoenix. Since 2019, nearly 3/4 of Arizona's 130 outpatient dialysis clinics were cited for lapse in protocols designed to keep patients safe. This is what I'm talking. That's why I'm on here now. That's why I'm on here now doing this education, and why I'm on here doing educations. Because when you hear news like this, a lot of patients don't hear this. It's not like patients go and you may have some that look up different dialysis situations that's going on or what's happening. But here's what's happening in Tucson, Arizona. It says, and I quote, since 2019, nearly 3/4 of Arizona's 130 outpatient dialysis clinics were cited for lapse in protocols designed to keep patients safe. And ASER analysis of state inspection data shows some facilities are repeat offenders. So it's not like they did it once and they say, okay, we recognize we made a mistake and we're going to fix it and own up to it. No, some facilities are repeat offenders, meaning they don't give a damn about your care. Because if they gave a damn about your care, they wouldn't be repeat offenders. Some facilities are repeat offenders with recurring infection control and safety violations dating back years. And you ask me why I do what I do. You're talking about reoccurring infection control and safety violations dating back years. And we know that bloodstream infections are the second leading cause of death in dialysis patients. Bloodstream infections. And you telling me you have 3/4 of Arizona's 130 outpatient dialysis clinics were cited for lapse in protocol designed to keep you safe or your parents safe. And even some facilities are repeat offenders. Repeat offenders. Just like you got somebody going back and forth to jail. Repeat offender. They're just doing it on a bigger scale that can harm a lot of people. With recurring infection control and safety violations dating back to years. Then they go on to say in the article, and I quote, such deficiencies are concerning at dialysis clinics because treatment requires a port with direct access to a person's bloodstream, making patients particularly vulnerable to life-threatening infections as they typically visit a clinic 3 times a week for 4 hours at a time. This is what I'm saying. Most patients don't think about this stuff when they go, because you expect that the facility going to do what they're going to do in due diligence. But here it tells you, Arizona, it could be anywhere in USA. It just happened, Arizona was reported. But you had cases in Maryland where a lady died. She bled out because there was staff shortage, and the line came loose, and she had the blanket over her and bled out behind the chair. And by the time they noticed it, she was dead. End-stage renal disease, often the result of chronic kidney disease from diabetes, congenital kidney issues, or hypertension, means a person's kidneys no longer function well enough to filter waste and fluid from blood on their own. For these patients, treatment is a matter of life and death. I've always said that. This is a matter of life and death. There's no gray area when you're talking about this disease. It says your life changes in a blink of an eye. And I think that can be really traumatic. You damn right it could be traumatic. Now you're talking about going into a place where you got all these deficiencies, and now you got to worry about if you're going to get an infection because this clinic haven't did what they were supposed to do pertaining to their infection control policies. They're going to say, and I quote, so former dialysis patient Sachi Kawahara said of transitioning to the treatment, this stress, she said, makes it hard for patients to proactively approach problems they may see at a clinic. The Arizona Department of Health Services, the agency responsible for inspecting dialysis clinics, said it has done its part to consistently inspect and issue citations, at times levying fines up to $30,000 for repeat problems. But records obtained by ASIR shows that dialysis companies can negotiate those fines down by an order of magnitude, at times by hundreds of thousands of dollars. So they get hit with the fine, but then they can negotiate that fine down. Records also reveal that the size of the fine does not always match the severity of the citations. Fines of between $250 and $1,250 were levied against clinics in 7 instances after actual harm to patients occurred. This is what the article said. Records also revealed that the size of the fine does not always match the severity of the citation. fines of between $250 and $1,250 were levied against clinics in 7 instances after actual harm to patients occurred. So, someone got hurt. It got reported, and only a fine of $250 and $1,250 were levied. That's how much dialysis patients' lives are worth when it comes to fines. If the clinic makes a mistake and harm you. The nationwide medical staffing and supply shortages from COVID-19 have also reached dialysis clinics, further compounding the risk to patients. Experts are calling the lack of resources critical as the now 2-year-old pandemic is straining the outpatient dialysis system. It's like choking it. The lack of dialysis care in the state right now during the pandemic is a significant issue, said Colby Bauer, the former assistant director of public health licensing services at the Arizona Department of Health Services, who left the agency in early 2022. Hospitals are having to keep patients longer because they can't get them into an outpatient dialysis center because they have no staff. So here we go. Again, you could be in a hospital, newly diagnosed. They can't find a clinic for you because there's no staff. You may want to transfer. We're not accepting patients. We don't have any staff. That's when you decide, should I do home dialysis? Do I got the resources? Do I got the support? This may be my time to do home dialysis and not have to worry about going into an outpatient unit with people I don't know, staff I never seen before. Mark Canavan, a 48-year-old from Surprise who has been on dialysis in Arizona since 2019, said he has noticed a change in his care since the pandemic started. The process of going to outpatient dialysis, even before the pandemic, brought about profound exhaustion, stress, and extreme medical risk, he said. Now it's gotten worse. And that's may have happened for a lot of you guys. Before the pandemic, things were starting to get a little rough, but you was able to manage. Now it's like off the chain. It's off the chain now. No staff. They may have changed the treatment time. They may have changed the shifts. Maybe closed down the units and sent you somewhere that's 15, 20 miles away because the one close to you doesn't have any staff. He says, there is no question that there has been a deleterious effect on myself and my fellow patients, Canavan said, despite the almost heroic efforts of dialysis staff at his clinic. He said he fears the level of care that we once received may never return. May never return. And you may be a patient watching this and seeing your care diminished. Like, I remember this, I remember that. Now they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. It's almost like with everything else. Like nobody cares anymore. It's like you go in, get your treatment, leave. Go in, get your treatment, leave. Like a factory. Come in, get your treatment, leave. Come in, get your treatment, leave. Come in, get your treatment, leave. It's like, damn. I don't know about anybody else, okay? I don't know about anybody else, all right? But this disease has impacted so many people of color. So many people of color that it's a travesty. I can't tell you how many clinics, 24, 30 chair units that I work at. And one shift, it could be first shift, and it could be every single chair with a person of color sitting in it. Every 30 chair. Every 30 chair. It's a powerful sight. And then when you come in second shift, you may have 20 blacks, 3 whites, and then the rest other, maybe like Filipino or some other race. And then third shift may have half of that, and it may be all black. It's very, very disturbing to see this sight. And for a lot of people who work in dialysis, and just like myself, before I woke up, it didn't matter. Just go to work. Come in, punch in the clock, put my lab coat on, go out on the floor. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, let's do what we do. Let's go to work. Way out there. And then you start seeing people filter in the morning. They coming in the door to get their weight. And like I said, you got 30 chairs and there's 30 blacks sitting in each chair. I don't make this up. This is my reality. This is my reality. Where I work at, where you may work, you may have no blacks sitting in the chair, or you may have half black, half white, or I don't know. But what I do know is that the statistics are dead on. African Americans make up 13.2% of the U.S. population. However, they account for more than 32% of people on dialysis. So we only make up 13.2%, but you see a lot of blacks on dialysis. And this is the travesty. This is the travesty. And now you have to deal with a situation where there's a shortage of staff. Just had another comment on on Facebook from Federico Aquino, kidney warrior. He says his clinic closed down 2 weeks. No, I'm sorry. His clinic closed down. 2 weeks notice they gave him. 2 weeks notice. Now, how can you find a freaking clinic in 2 weeks? How can you find another dialysis if you were told, and this is how they do it. This. You at home? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me put my. You at home now thinking about the letter that you put in your bag. You thinking it's one of those same type of letters that they always give you, some bull crap. But here go, a week past, you haven't even opened it up. And they say, you look at it, let me open it. And you read and you're like, wait a minute, I got 2 weeks to find another. They closing down. What? Wait a minute, it's already been a week. So I got 1 week. So now you may, depending on where you live, like all these clinics out west and stuff like that, if you're not in a like urban city like DC, Baltimore, like Richmond, where you got clinics stacked up on each other. You know what I'm saying? Like in my area alone, and I ain't in no bad neighborhood, it's like 13 damn clinics within a 3-mile radius. 13 clinics. 13 dialysis clinics in a 3-mile radius from where I live. And I don't live in no food desert. Okay, we live, gentrification is happening all around us. I'm seeing people I never seen before in my neighborhood. Okay, buying homes and the home values going up. But here, now you got damn dialysis clinic, one right up the street that I can walk to in an old bowling alley. Like, come on. So now you're trying to find a unit out west. Their units don't run like that. You may have one of them town in Oregon or Tucson or whatever, right? Nevada, one of these towns. You know how the space is. And like you can have one clinic, 2 clinics in your town, one closed down, You try to go to the other one, everybody that already beat you, they overstaffed. I mean, they overbooked. They ain't got no chairs. Now you got to travel where you once traveled 3 miles to go to dialysis. Now you got to travel 30 miles just to go to treatment. Like, that's a shame. See, that's the thing. People who live in those type of states where you got no clinics in abundance because the lack of people, the people, they don't have the people on dialysis to support that. So you may see clinics like 50 miles apart, 20, 30 miles apart, where I live, shit, you could just drive 2-3 blocks up the street and there's a clinic in an old bowling alley. They got plenty of seats. If you can't get one there, there's a couple of more clinics right down the street from that one. Different companies. So this thing is just off the chain. And again, this staff shortage is again, I say it's a travesty that needs to be addressed. And I, again, encourage you, if you can work to get a job in dialysis, you can go to DaVita, www.davita.com, go into careers, or you can go to www.fmcna.com. Let me put that on the banner. All right. I'm just typing the sites where you can go apply for a job at DaVita or Fresenius. So that you'll see that on my screen on YouTube or Facebook. So I got it up. Let me turn the screen around so you can see it. So go there, go under careers, and look for patient care technician. Type in patient care technician, and you'll see all the job postings. In fact, let me see if I can pull up the site right now. Or you can type in DaVita careers. They say hiring. So this is how the website looks like, davita.com. And then you go to, it says accept cookies. You go at the top. You go at the top, it's 3 bars. It's 3 bars at the top. Top of the page, you hit those 3 bars, and then you go into careers. You go into careers. Let me turn this around so you can see. So go to DaVita, those 3 bars. That come open, you go to careers. You go to careers for Let me see, for partners. Yeah, you go into, hold up. But yeah, you go into that careers and you just type in what you're looking for. And that should pop up. I mean, you don't even have to do dialysis. I mean, you could do something else. You don't even have to work on the floor. They got other jobs like administrative secretary, if you wanted to do that. Okay, so, all right. So you're going to see that where it says find jobs. And you enter your location. I put dialysis technician. And then I'm gonna put in I'm gonna say Baltimore. Right? I'm gonna say Baltimore. Now look how many jobs pop up. Look at this. Patient care experience. Patient care tech, no dialysis experience required. You see that? That's what I'm saying. Look at this. Look at that. Is it a shortage? Look at that. Look at that. Patient care technician. Training provided. So it's work out here in the field. I mean, they got something like 5,000 jobs available just in this area alone. So let me get off of the YouTube. Been on there for a minute, guys. Thank you, Margaret. I appreciate you as always. But if you guys are interested in working in dialysis, hit me up and I'll give you some things of what to say to make them look at your application a little bit more faster. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, thank you guys for watching me on YouTube and Facebook. See you guys possibly next week. But tonight was definitely a topic that needed to be discussed. Dialysis staffing shortages. Are your treatments in jeopardy? And as we can see, treatments are definitely in jeopardy. So thank you guys for watching me tonight on YouTube and Facebook. We'll continue discussion on TikTok. See you guys later. Peace and blessings. Thank you again, Margaret, Tanya. Let me see. Federico, thank you. Tanya Knox, thank you so much, Tanya. Margaret, I appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for your unwavering support. Have a good night. And if you need me for anything, Margaret, any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All right. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. All right. Take care. God bless. And have a great treatment week. Peace.
Warriors around, don't get caught in the mosh pit. Fuel to the fire, ain't nobody can stop it. Trouble in my city, but you know I'm across it. Got a 40 on my hip and I'm liable to spark it. Throw down these hits, my click is indivisible. I aim, you duck, I squeeze, now you invisible. I'm not afraid of getting physical. All these different chemicals are fogging up my visuals. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we notorious, we ain't no runners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Yo, we some warriors, they ain't called gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Bloods on my hands, got slugs on my gunners. Put on my sweat, put on the beat, put on the map, put on my team. Take out every motherfucker in between. Know what I mean? Better myself, better my aim, better my rep, better my name. Killing rappers on my hang, I'm by their chains for the fame. Never thought I would it, now I'm running. You don't wanna follow me, now I'm fucking funny.